Country Forum today being brought to you by Banner Payson Medical Center, the Dana Law Group, George Henry Plumbing, Heating and Cooling, At Your Service Cleaning and Tree Service, Anytime Fitness, and Hospitality Wireless. Well, good, finally, Friday morning, 5 minutes past 9 o'clock, 67 degrees. That's right, it's Friday. And it's time for your hometown movie guys, and they're all here with us in the studio. We have Tina, Craig, and Andy with us to tell us everything about what's going on at the Sawmill Theaters and ever so much more. And so, come on, hurry up and get done, band. All right, wrap it up. And, all right, guys, how's life?
Peachy.
Peachy, in a word?
T-bony.
T-bony. I won't ask. I'm not sure. I'm afraid to find out.
No, actually, Safeway had Hawaiian poke last night, which is,
what is that?
Raw ahi. Oh my God.
Poke?
Yes. Well,
so if you're a guy that eats a lot of that, then you're a Pokemon?
Yeah, but they have it, and you know, you can mix it with their sauce, or you can eat it just the way I did, which is with salt and butter. Mm. Yeah.
Raw, huh?
Yeah, raw fish.
Yeah. In a word. Do you have anything you want to add to that, Craig? Are you up on raw fish these days?
You got to sear it at least.
Yeah. I'm not a sushi fan, but I will say I was down off the coast, 6 miles or 8 miles off the coast of El Salvador on this little island after an earthquake down there, and some folks came out of one of the little grass huts. It was a scene out of like Gilligan's Island, and they came out with this big carved wooden bowl with a carved wooden spoon in it, fresh with filled with fresh shark ceviche, and you know that's chemically cooked, you know, vinegar and all that.
Oh, yeah.
But it was actually very yummy, not to be confused with sushi, which is disgusting. But that's just my opinion.
Thank you for sharing.
You can have my share. Hey, let's talk about movies, just because it seems like the right thing to do. We've got a lot going on at the Sawmill Theaters, some new movies that just started this week. And, you know, one of them, Craig, that has been getting a lot of interesting hype in the news and stuff like that is Joker. Now, the origin story of the iconic villain Arthur Fleck, a man disregarded by society, and a broader cautionary tale. Now this is rated R. This is not one that kids do. It plays at 1:15, 4:15, and 7:15. But if you like the Batman movies, you know, in the last, Keith Ledger that was the last one to play the Joker. You know, there was a lot of talk about how he really kind of took on the whole persona of the character, and I would think that, you know, playing a part like this for any actor, this is some kind of dark stuff.
Yeah, well, this was, you know, Joaquin Phoenix took this one on.
Right.
I watched this movie yesterday. Clearly, he's going to be nominated for an Academy Award.
Really?
Quite possibly going to win it. This is one of those movies where not just performance, but he did the physical thing where he lost about 70 pounds.
Wow.
He looks terrible.
I do that when I skip lunch.
I mean, the shoulder bones are sticking out.
Really?
It's really, yeah.
Like you know, kind of anorexic then.
Oh yeah,
wow.
very much so. Yeah, like I said, he does. He looks terrible, but it fits into the role then also.
Right.
You know, as far as definitely a very interesting movie. First, I mean, I think the most interesting movie of the year so far.
Really?
Not so much a Batman film. It is set in that universe, I guess, and Joker is a Batman villain. The Wayne family, you know, Bruce Wayne, that was Batman and everything, is in it. If they took them out, though, it wouldn't have affected the movie. It's really not.
It's not an integral part of the story.
No, it's really not a comic. I wouldn't call it a comic book movie at all. I guess it is a comic book villain, but
I hear that this is really kind of it's a darker twist to the Joker. Would that?
Oh
is
yeah.
that accurate?
It's yeah, terribly so.
Wow.
It's you know, Joaquin Phoenix carries this whole movie. It's pretty much just him in every scene. It just does this incredible job. You feel just a whole range of emotions you go through watching this movie, where you know, he draws you in, and you feel bad for him. You're uncomfortable. It's just really an intense movie.
So I would assume that because the storyline talks about this being a man that's disregarded by society, and so obviously he's been rejected a lot, and that's what's turned him to the dark side.
Yeah, it's kind of, I guess, a little bit of an origin story, kind of how he got there, how he became this deranged killer, and it deals with mental health quite a bit, you know, those kind of some of that aspect of it, and yeah, just really an amazing film, I thought. You know, when the credits finished up there, you know, at first it was just, wow. You know, that was...
There was Mike Farrell was reading a review, and I don't know if it was in the Wall Street Journal today or the Republic or where it was, but they were, whoever it was that wrote the review said something like that this, you know, the kind of emotional impact of this movie stayed with him for a couple of days after seeing it. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I'm still in that, yeah.
Really?
Yeah,
You look kind of depressed this morning.
It would.
The Joker makeup, though, is kind of neat.
Was,
I like it with your beard and everything.
Yeah.
It's nice.
But, you know, it was yeah, like you said, a very complex movie. You know, midway through the film, you know, I remember thinking, it's like, wow, this is just not a very fun movie.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it is kind of depressing and dark, forlorn.
So if you find yourself a little too happy today, go see the Joker.
Yeah, but you know, they might, but you know, I distinctly remember saying, oh, I wouldn't want to watch this again.
Mm-hmm.
By the end of the movie, though, that had turned, and I was like, wow, I really need to see this again.
Really?
So yeah, quite the...
That's interesting. You know, of course, I've liked all the Batman movies, but like you say, this isn't really, it isn't that comic book type of thing. This is a darker, twisted side to the Joker.
Yeah, really more just of a deranged man and how he gets there.
Right.
You know, kind of the you know, his earlier years, you know, his childhood.
Kind of reminded you a lot of K-Mochi, probably.
This was a different level.
The names have been changed to protect the innocent.
Yeah.
And you mentioned Keith Ledger, but Jared Leto also portrays the Joker in Suicide Squad, and he's also completely nuts. Completely nuts, I think, in a more entertaining way.
Yeah.
Than
Entertainingly nuts.
Yeah. I haven't seen this yet. I had a dog thing I had to do, and I missed the movie yesterday morning.
It was rough.
But I'm really looking forward to seeing this, Randy.
So you have not had a chance to see it yet?
No, I have.
What do we know about? I mean, is this a big dollar production? Do we know?
Actually, no.
Really?
Estimates hover around either side of 60 million bucks.
So,
which
by today's standards?
Well, and by kind of Batman movie standards, or in general kind of comic book movie standards, that's not really a great deal of money.
Right.
I think they're going to make a ton on this, but I can't wait to see it. This is, as Craig said, maybe the most compelling movie of the year.
Oh.
Not the most fun, but the most kind of must-see.
Wow, very interesting.
Yeah, like you said, not at all a comic book movie.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I think that budget does kind of, you know, this is not a special effects driven film at all.
Right.
This is really a psychological thriller into a...
It's like Stephen King does Batman.
Yeah, a little bit, you know, and he's just turning into a serial killer. You know, so that's... And then, you know, of course, there was some of the controversy about this film, you know, that it's promoting violence and that type of thing, and I mean, I guess, you know, you can stretch anything. I mean,
Well,
you clearly don't see him as a hero.
Truth be known, you could do a story about, you know, Sylvester and Tweety Bird, and there'll be people who'll be offended.
Sure.
So.
And it is, you do feel, like you said, at some points, I guess you do feel bad for him. Not a whole lot of it. It's just really a wide range of emotions you go through watching this film.
And Tina, your read, I mean, I know you haven't seen this yet, but I mean, what are you thinking?
I probably will go see it. I love Joaquin Phoenix. One of my favorite roles that he played was in Gladiator, where he played the evil Emperor Maximus.
Right.
And he's very compelling. And you know, the study of somebody with mental illness who turns to evil, yeah, I mean, it's a little edgy because people are worried that, you know, that there'll be monkey see, monkey do, copycat stuff.
And it is coming out during National Mental Health Awareness Month.
Yeah, and you know, the theater in Aurora where the guy dressed up as the Joker, you know, I think they're not showing it, which is certainly their prerogative.
Yeah.
But I think if one can go and look at this and then think of it in the context of things that can be done to help people like that,
Huh.
I think it would be good.
All comes down to perspective, makes
Sure.
sense.
And there is a fair amount of controversy swirling around this thing that the mental health issue, as Tina said, there are people out there criticizing the movie because the possibility of triggering crazy people to go out and do crazy stuff, which like Craig says, I think that's baloney that crazy people are going to do crazy stuff for their own crazy reasons.
Mm-hmm.
But it really delves into the mind of a criminal psychopath. Explores that, which is not a comfortable place to be. And another aspect of this that I really don't quite understand is the Joker has been adopted as kind of an emblem by the involuntarily celibate community, and
Didn't realize that was nationally recognized.
yeah, it's a thing. There's a thing for everything, I suppose.
So you make yourself so repulsive that nobody wants to have anything to do with you, is that it? Because you said involuntary.
Yes,
It's
yeah.
not voluntary.
No,
No, voluntary would be, the monks and the nuns and
Correct.
like that. So.
yeah, involuntarily, it's like me in high school.
Yeah, and that,
Interested, but no takers.
TMI.
and that movie for another show. Now, if you find yourself feeling like, well, I'm just a little too stuffy and stuck up to go watch The Joker, well, how about watching Downton Abbey?
Oh, I'm all over it.
You know-
I will be there at 1 o'clock.
So you're
I'll
a
actually
big
be there at
fan of that,
12:30.
and you've watched all the episodes
Oh,
on TV and all that?
Yes, by now. Yes,
Oh, yes.
yes.
And
And
so-
I grew up amongst those people as well, in being in Singapore and
Right.
Jamaica. So I love the characters. I love the portrayal of the upper and lower, of the middle, lower classes, the change through history of the relationships between those people,
Mhm.
and all of the actors. Apparently they had the original cast, and so that's worth it just alone. Wonderful.
So if you're not familiar with it, and I don't know how anyone isn't these days, Downton Abbey, a continuing story of the Crawley family, wealthy owners of a large estate in the English countryside in the early 20th century. Plays at 1, 4, and 7 p.m. It's rated PG-13, so this is something that...
It's PG, that's a PG.
Oh, it's just PG?
It's PG.
Oh, really?
Yes, yes.
PG?
That is a PG.
So it's
Good.
good for the whole family.
Take the children and show them what real
How
civilization.
the other half lives.
Well, and how civilized behavior and restraint. We don't say everything that comes to our mind. You remember the British thing, you can do whatever you
We
want
don't.
as long as you don't do it in the street and frighten the horses.
There you go. So now, do we know, was this doesn't seem like, Andy, that this would be necessarily a really expensive movie to put together, was it?
Nope.
Okay.
Let's see, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. We have 6 movies out this week. 2 of them are in the black. Downton Abbey is one of them. It's already been out in the rest of the world for a week, I guess.
And they're already in the black after a week.
Yeah, they spent, and this is, I really applaud movie producers that are careful with their money, because I think it's important that pool boys get Ferraris when things are successful in Hollywood.
I suddenly want to get a job as a pool boy.
You wouldn't
You know-
like it.
Bring you the Speedo.
No, they wouldn't like that.
But they spent $20 million to make it,
Wow.
and in their first week, they've got 113 in the cash box.
Sweet.
113 million bucks. So that's worldwide.
Speaking of Downton Abbey, Rim Country's own, oh gosh, just like that, name goes right out my brain. This getting old ain't for sissies, I tell you.
You did get a rhyme in there though, so they get points for that.
Well, we try. Oh gosh, and a very good friend whose name I just suddenly can't remember. I'll rewind my brain. We'll be back with more right after this.
Did you lose a caller
What
already?
the hell is her name? The gal that, she's the local travel expert. We have her on the air here all the time, and I've known her for years.
Alana?
Alana Wallace.
Yeah.
Good grief, don't tell her that I forgot her
I
name.
won't.
Fortunately, she should still be on the other side of the pond, so hopefully she won't find out. But she just posted up some pictures on Facebook of her at Downton Abbey.
Oh.
The real deal.
Yeah, there is, I mean, tours and everything.
Yeah.
One can go.
I now told you everything I know about it. I thought the picture looked like a really big old place.
It is a really good old
Surgeons
place.
right here at Payson. My name is Steve Thompson. I'm
I should go after this commercial.
And working back
Where they're up there,
No,
one,
yeah.
1, 2, 3.
I'll do it.
Did you know that our community has 3 board-certified dental surgeons?
You guys can
Dr.
talk about
Susan
it?
Horn, Dr. Lloyd,
Not today.
Dr.
I'm gonna
Leroy
see,
Womble,
I'll see
providing
Joker.
a wide
I'm
range of
really
services,
curious to see what you think,
including
because
colonoscopy, hernia repair.
They said
By
it
the way,
was-
Mike this morning was talking about movies, and they got another movie called Abdominal. It's like,
Oh, no!
no, it's not Abdominal. Read the frickin' thing.
Hey, I have a favorite
Center Healthcare
What
right
year
here at
is
home.
That's tomorrow, isn't it?
the, yeah.
Welcome back to Rim Country Forum, 21 minutes past 9 o'clock, 67 degrees. Again, looking at the high of 78. More on today's weather for you coming up around Rim Country in just a little bit. Meanwhile, this morning on Rim Country Forum, talking with your hometown movie guys, Andy, Craig, and Tina with us in the studio, and of course, Don Klein also quietly sitting back in the corner videotaping all of this. And you can always get all the behind-the-scenes look at what goes on here in our Friday morning Hometown Movie Guys issue of Rim Country Forum by just going on to YouTube and looking for the Don Klein channel. That's Klein, C-L-I-N-E. Don Klein channel. It's got a lot of other good stuff on there too, but you can always see everything that's going on here and ever so much more.
It's fun too.
Yeah.
I get a real kick out of seeing this on YouTube.
It's never a dull moment, that's for sure.
Does anybody know if Lily James is in Downtown Abbey?
I do not.
I-
I will find out today.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay, I know. She's
Yes,
one of the
she's
original
wonderful,
original cast members, and then she went on to make Cinderella live action.
Right.
She's just, I hope she's there.
And
Yeah.
I like her as, you
She's
know,
very
she's-
charming.
What I was attempting to mumble just before the break there was our dear friend Alana Wallace, who is a travel expert. She just happens to be over in that neck of the woods, and posted up a picture on Facebook the other day where she was actually at the real Downton Abbey, and it looked like a very interesting big old place.
Yeah, and the actual real place is giant, and it's old, and as the economy has changed and the aristocracy has kind of been dispossessed of their property over the decades, it's becoming more and more problematical to keep up these huge things.
Right.
But the series, the TV series, and of course now the movie has really allowed them to revive the place and to keep it up in the style to which it should be. It's a beautiful thing. That must have been just grand to be what is he, the head guy of, is he a duke or?
Lord Grantham.
He's a lord of some
I do
sort.
not know what the real.
Oh, he's an earl.
Is he the earl?
He's an earl, yeah, that's right, yeah.
Yeah. And I can't remember the hierarchy of the British titles. I used to know all the stuff. When I was a kid, I had to memorize all the British kings and queens. So I went to British schools, and this was important.
Where I grew
Remember,
up-
the sun never sets on the British Empire. There was a time when, it was everywhere you went, there were colonies.
Where
And
I grew up in
lived in
Phoenix.
and I lived in two of them.
Right.
Well, Phoenix, no.
No, where I grew up in Phoenix, I was only 1 block away from Earl Drive. Does that count? That's
Sure.
probably not.
Pretty close.
Pretty close,
And
yeah.
I'm sure you might have seen the Dukes of Hazzard.
I saw some hazardous things there. I don't know if there's any dukes or not.
Isn't an abbey a religious?
And the question, is an abbey a religious
I
building?
believe so. It's where the monks,
It's where monks hang out.
yeah, or nuns, not together.
Well, yeah, could be, yeah, could
Not
be.
together.
Could
The
be.
abbess
Yeah,
is
sure.
a title,
Yeah.
the head nun.
But the building, to look at it, you wouldn't suspect that it had ever been used as an abbey, but it might have been the property. This is just my supposition. It might have been the property originally was an abbey at one
The
point.
Church of England.
Now,
Well, it would
Yeah.
have been Catholic and then confiscated by Henry,
True that, yeah, because
Yeah.
Henry was all
and then
about-
handed
yeah.
handed over to maybe to the Granthams.
Sure, Yeah,
Possibly.
well, you know, my favorite aristocrat gets some stuff. Yeah, you know.
Off with their heads. Hey, well, you know, one of the other movies that is playing right now at the Sawmill Theater is something good for the whole family. It's also rated PG, plays at 1, 4, and 7, and that's Abominable. After discovering a Yeti, teenage Yi and her friends try to reunite the magical creature with his family. And of course, this is an animated flick of sorts. What studio did this come out of?
This is a Universal.
Oh, Universal, really. And again, good for the whole family. As I mentioned, it plays at 1, 4, and 7. That 4 o'clock showing is in 3D, so it might be kind of a fun thing to take the kids out and check out. Another good movie that's fun for everyone. Have you had a chance to see this one yet, Andy?
You bet. In fact, if you look in today's roundup,
You give it pretty stellar marks.
yeah, it was okay. It was a pretty good movie, but is made, distributed, I guess, through Universal, but produced in conjunction with Pearl.
Bailey?
No, it's a Chinese firm,
Ah.
a Chinese, and so it's set in Shanghai.
Oh.
Excuse me. It's good. It's a good movie for little kids. It's kind of silly for grown-ups.
Is there a moral to the story or anything?
I think so.
Okay.
But, you know, but it's fun to watch. It's very colorful. There's nothing bad in it. It's PG rated. Unfortunately, so far it has not found an audience.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they spent 75 million bucks to make it.
Ouch.
Yeah, so far they only brought in 35.
And how long has this been out?
Just a week.
Just a week.
So they'll get there eventually.
Yeah, but you know, Downtown Abbey in a week, 113 million. So
There you go.
yeah, so I don't know. I have high hopes. The director writer also wrote the script for Monsters Inc., which was a spectacular, wonderful, magical Pixar movie.
A lot of great little one-liners in that one.
Yeah, and all that kind of stuff is not
Right.
here. And they made these Chinese kids look like valley kids from LA.
Totally.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you know, that kind of stuff. So,
Gag me, dude.
and I'm not sure that that's, you know, socially accurate. I don't know if Chinese kids are that shallow, but they might be.
How about the Yeti? Was he pretty cool?
Yeti was not that cool, and,
As Yetis go.
and was magic,
Huh?
which kind of explains why the Yetis have been so successful at remaining hidden.
I see. Well, so again, Abominable plays at 1, 4, and 7. Now, one of the other movies...
That's abominable, not abdominal.
Yeah, not exactly. As you may have heard earlier on KMOG, it is Abominable. Now, one of the movies that's playing that I'm really anxious to go see myself is Ad Astra. It's a movie about an astronaut that travels to the outer edges of the solar system to find his father and unravel a mystery that threatens the survival of our planet. It's rated PG-13, plays at 1:15, 4:15, and 7:15. And Tina, have you seen this one?
No.
No. How about you, Andy?
Yep.
And you're...
Oh, please go see it. They need somebody to go watch this movie.
Has it not been doing well?
No, and it doesn't deserve to.
Oh, really?
Sounds like a turkey to me.
How about
like a
this?
spacey turkey.
Yeah, Craig, what about you? Have you watched the movie?
I watched the second half of it. Yeah, I didn't think it was that bad.
Yeah.
I do.
The critics are being very critical this morning.
Yeah, well, actually, nationally, the critics, you know, they like the movie.
Yeah.
I do get it. It is kind of a slow-moving, deliberate film.
Incoherent mess.
Well, I could say that.
But
Opinions
you liked
vary.
it anyway,
Yeah,
right?
opinions vary.
No, but I
It's
like
got Brad Pitt.
I mean, Brad
doesn't
Pitt,
it?
yeah, and then you've got, what's his name that plays his father?
Tommy Lee Jones.
Tommy Lee Jones, and he's been in just about everything but the 12 Commandments.
Got a good cast to it.
Get it, 12 Commandments. that's
Like
the
I
joke.
said, I guess some people have not liked it at all, and other people said it was just fine.
Well, so, you know, I like space movies.
Yeah, and I have to admit that Brad Pitt did great. He did exactly what the director wanted him to do.
And got his paycheck and laughed all the way to the bank. Probably.
Oh, no, he's one of the producers. He's not laughing.
Yeah.
Okay, he's skipping then. Anyway, Ad Astra plays at 1:15, 4:15, and 7:15. Now, what about just rounding things out here real quick? Yeah, well, by the way, we were talking before about Downton Abbey. What we're going to be asking you here in just a little bit is your favorite British film. And I know Tina has got a long, lengthy dissertation that she's going to bless us with here in just a moment. But before we get to that, what about Rambo: Last Blood? The 15th in the Rambo series or something like that?
The 5th. Yeah.
5th, okay, I'm sorry.
And it's Last Blood, so
Last Blood,
perhaps it will be the last.
Right.
blood.
Probably
Yeah.
the third to the last.
There's the last.
Keep doing
Yeah, the
this.
next one is Rambo: Embalmed.
It's a Rambo movie. It's going to be what you expect.
Rambo must confront his past and unearth his ruthless combat skills to exact revenge in a final mission. It is rated R, so there's probably a lot of blood, guts, gore, and maybe a little potty mouth.
Hacking with machetes and
Oh,
stuff like that.
okay, so a festive movie. Plays at 1:30, 4:30, and 7:30. And, I don't know, of course, it's been, what was it? It was the 1970s, wasn't it, when the first Rambo movie came out?
I think 82.
82,
Yeah.
that's right, okay, so, I mean, I enjoyed that one, and I think I saw the second one, and I didn't realize we were actually already up to number 5 now, but, I mean,
Well, I'm very enthusiastic about this one.
Really?
When you see a geriatric guy going out there slaying bad guys in large numbers, I think that's pretty fun.
see, is it one of these movies that you go away from the theater feeling good about yourself?
Yeah, you tuck in your stomach. Well, yeah, I could do that.
I must go see that. Yes.
Go see him tuck in his stomach, or go see the movie?
Well, that as well.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Unfortunately, this R-rated blood fest is not been very successful.
Really?
Yeah, they spent $50 million to make it,
Mhm.
and by my not expert rule of thumb, you've got to make $2 at the box office to break even for every dollar that you spend on the movie, and they've only brought in 60 million so far.
All right, so.
But so Sylvester, unlike myself, is able to do pull-ups with a 100-pound weight around his waist.
Yeah, he's in a little bit better shape than me. Yeah, I usually just use a 50-pound weight.
I saw him
And
in
if you
person.
believe
I
that.
saw him in person one time.
Really?
He's 5'7".
Oh, he's not real big.
No, and he had gigantic bodyguards.
Mhm.
But he has he's a star, and the difference between an actor and a star. Stars, he pretty much plays himself in a lot of movies, except there are movies in which he kind of disappears into a role, so he became an actor, and I can't remember what they are, but I remember I liked him. But he really radiates, somebody.
Star power.
He fills a room, even though he's miniature.
Huh.
He's a big guy, just because of his persona.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
Now, just to round out the list, the other one that is still playing is Hustlers. Former strip club employees band together to turn the tables on their Wall Street clients. And of course, this one has
J-Lo.
J-Lo, yeah,
Yeah,
Jennifer
Jennifer.
Lopez, and it's rated R, plays at 1:15, 4:15, and 7:15. Is this, what, second week on this one, Craig?
Third week.
Third week. And have you been getting many people showing up for this one?
It's doing okay.
Yeah?
It's hanging in there. I'm sure it'll be gone next Thursday then.
I have never found it difficult to look at Jennifer Lopez.
It's another one. She's 42.
Oh, she's
Really?
big. Oh,
Yeah, she's in pretty good
amazing.
shape, yeah.
I remember when thinking 42 was kind of old.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Me neither.
You're just out of high school, aren't you?
Right. Blew right past that one. didn't it?
Yeah. So how about financially? How's it doing?
Oh, it's doing very, very well.
Really?
They spent $20 million to make it. It's got 99 million in the bank.
So I must not be the only one that says Jennifer Lopez is okay to look at.
Yeah, this is a hard R movie
Oh, really?
for some pretty troubling events. Essentially, these strippers are drugging wealthy Wall Street guys and stealing their money in large amounts by running up fraudulent credit card things.
See, told you, should stay out of the strip clubs.
Well, that's, okay,
Yeah.
I will. By golly, I will.
Pete's place has pictures, you know that.
Oh, you don't want to get me started with one-liners here.
Yeah,
This is
my
going to go downhill in a
neighborhood.
hurry.
Yeah, but we were talking earlier about Joaquin Phoenix performance being touted as Oscar-worthy, and in this one, Jennifer Lopez performance is being touted as Oscar-worthy.
Oh, really? Wow.
So I haven't seen this one, but it's really gotten excellent reviews and a distasteful movie, but really well done.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, these are two films that you're gonna hear about for Academy Award time.
Very interesting.
Definitely, and again, going back to Joaquin Phoenix a little bit, his performance is even a little bit Daniel Day-Lewis-ish.
Oh, good.
Lewis-ish?
Esque.
Lewis-esque.
Lewis, that's.
So, but I mean, as far as a person who really just takes on the role and lives it.
Yeah, you
Wow.
know, that's what we were just talking about, Sylvester Stallone sometimes just plays himself, but this is, obviously, this is acting at its best.
Wow, very interesting.
Whether you're, I don't know if everyone's gonna like that movie or not.
So,
Like you said,
Right.
very, very interesting film, but the performance is incredible.
right. So the big question is with this, strip club and these people that are they're drugging these Wall Street tycoons and everything. The big question I have is there a big cow on the sign out in front?
With arrows.
Who has a strip club with a cow on it? I mean, or a steer for that matter.
Oh, man.
I mean, to me
It's
that.
my hood. Talking,
And there's no, I mean, if it had horns, you could say, okay, it's a horny thing.
Well, you remember Chuck Herring?
I didn't say that.
You remember Chuck Herring? He used to say, God bless his soul, he used to say, when Star Valley, he used to say, you got a Baptist church across the street, you got a pizza place on one side, that's our civic center.
That's one way to look at it. All right, so we'll do, we got 25 seconds and we're back again. I'll talk about the Saturday morning classic, the kids' movies, and then we'll start talking. You have any thoughts in the back of your head about favorite British movies?
Yes.
Sure.
Okay.
Lots.
Yeah, we want to do a,
She's got
Craig can
32.
share, Craig can share.
we want to do a Halloween party too.
Yeah.
We're gonna do we want to tie it into the casinos.
Hold that thought, let's talk about it in the air.
Cool.
Welcome back to the Country Forum, 23 minutes in front of 10 o'clock, 68 degrees. And this morning with our hometown movie guys, Tina, Craig, and Andy with us in the studio and talking about all the different things playing at the Sawmill Theaters. And one of the other things we need to mention too is that the first Saturday of the month, which, my gosh, is tomorrow, it's the Saturday morning classic movie, and this month featuring The Phantom of the Opera. A young soprano becomes the obsession of a disfigured and murderous musical genius who lives beneath the Paris Opera House. It plays tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock. You can get in for just $5. And when this, you've had some other musicals before on the Saturday movie classics, and those have been pretty well received, haven't they?
Jason loves musicals.
And this has got a lot of the same stuff from the Broadway performances.
Sure,
by
yeah.
the same
Yeah,
thing,
we
right?
tried to do this one kind of time to the Halloween thing. We're
Right.
coming up on that here pretty quick.
But now, just during the break there, you mentioned something about you're thinking about putting together a Halloween party at the theater?
Yeah, we're wanting to do something on the 26th actually, when the casino does their big Halloween party there. We want to do something for the kids though, so we're going to do a couple of kind of classic movies for the kids, Frankenweenie and Nightmare Before Christmas.
Ooh.
So we're going to play those two. We're going to start at 9 o'clock and go till midnight. So anyone going over to the casino, they can drop their kids off there and watch a couple movies.
So Frankenweenie, is this a sequel to Frank and Beans? No, sorry.
That's Tim Burton also.
Oh, okay. Somehow or other I missed that one.
Yeah, just kind of that claymation, I think. On
Oh, right.
Yeah,
Like
it's
Gumby.
actually pretty good.
Yeah, but a couple of PG movies, and we're gonna do a little bit of a costume party and stuff, and
Yeah.
give away some movie posters, and I'll try to make it fun for everyone.
That sounds cool. That'll be fun. And you think that's coming up on the 26th, you said?
Yeah, it'll be October 26th. Start at 9 p.m. and we'll run until about midnight.
And we'll be talking more about that. As
Yeah,
we get a little
we're
closer
just
to
kind of
that.
getting that together now.
And one of the other things you've been doing, because kids get out of school early on Wednesdays, you've been having the kids' movies on Wednesdays at 2 p.m. And for just $5, kids can get in there and enjoy a movie, a small drink, and a small popcorn. And the movie for this next Wednesday is Finding Dory?
Finding Dory, yes.
All right.
Oh,
Very cool. So, and that Finding Dory was a takeoff on, what was the first one in that?
Finding Nemo.
Finding that. There's a lot of lost people in that ocean, but they're
Big
fish.
ocean.
It sounds awful fishy to me. Anyway, again, that'll be playing this next Wednesday at 2 p.m. So take the kids down there as they get out of school early and enjoy Finding Dory. Now, we've been teasing a little bit here that what we wanted to ask you, the listener, this morning. is what's your favorite British movie? And now, Tina, this was your idea, and I just want to blame it all on you right off the bat.
Sure.
I guess the big question is, does this have to be a film that was actually produced in Britain, or just with British actors, or is it just any movie that has people eating fish and chips, or what?
You know, I'm pretty elastic about this.
You're very bendy.
Yes, I'm very bendy.
Okay.
And you know, if you think about movies highlighting the aspects of British life, one of my favorites is The King's Speech with
Oh, yeah.
Colin Firth and Jeffrey Rush.
I watched
That
about
was
10 minutes of that, and it looked
wonderful.
very interesting.
That's better than you normally do.
Well, it was an accident, actually, but it's a whole other story.
Yeah, but that was Oscar, I mean, he won an Oscar for that, and he should have. It was a true story.
Mm.
It's just, it's a beautiful movie about, you know, the king, that particular king, it was the father of the current Elizabeth. He was a wonderful man and a great family man, and he never wanted to be king, but his stupid brother, you know, ran away with, well, Edward ran away with Wallace Simpson, you know, the American. who's being
Edward and Wallace ran away together?
Well, Wallace Simpson was an American predatory divorcee.
Hussy.
She was a hustler.
Oh,
yeah.
okay, so it is a female.
And she's
all right.
being compared, by the way, to Meghan Markle. I have friends in Britain, and they're comparing
Really?
her to Prince Harry, Meghan Markle, who's not real popular right now over there.
Gotta have controversy.
She's our American, you know, another one. Right? But The King's Speech is a wonderful movie. Everybody should see this several times.
Well, now, and let's look at the other end of the spectrum, because the first movie that came to my mind, of course, was Monty Python and the Holy Grail.
Of course.
Yeah.
And that's truly British.
I mean,
Yes,
yeah,
yes.
and it's.
And British humor.
I find that, you know, it's kind of that strange, tangy, off-color, whatever you want to call that.
Oh, well, you know, Monty Python, I mean, my husband, God bless him out there, he knows all the words to all the songs.
Oh, yeah.
And when the Terry Boys get together.
I am a lumberjack,
Yes.
I'm okay. Yeah.
Yes.
That was 50 years ago.
And you
yes,
mentioned this
that
before I went on the air today, and I've
yeah.
been super depressed ever since, because
Yeah.
I was a big Monty Python and Monty Python's Flying Circus fan. It was on PBS back in the 70s, and
That's right, yeah.
Oh,
50
man.
years.
50 years ago,
50
yeah.
years, yeah.
No wonder they all look so
Time
old
flies.
when we see them on TV now.
Yeah, I know.
Wow.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't know. So, what's another couple, Tina, that stand out as you as being epic British films?
Well, homage to Andy, Shaun of the Dead.
Oh.
Yes, sirree, Shaun of the Dead. That's a weapon, zombies, uber alles.
And who actually
Yeah.
produced that thing?
I don't know. You should know. It's your, that's
I-
your
no, I-
bailiwick.
Yeah, I don't know who produced that, but.
So,
but
Shaun of the Dead is just another zombie movie, right?
No,
Oh.
no, Shaun of the Dead is arguably the finest zombie movie
I
ever
agree.
made.
And I'm not even a zombie aficionado,
Kinda
however,
baited
I
it
will
with
go
that
with
one.
that. Shaun of the Dead.
No, it's really funny.
Careful.
The
I've
opening,
never seen people get so, emotional about a zombie movie. No, this is the best one ever.
no, because it's terrific.
Yes, it is.
The opening scene. We don't always lose every single call, but we may today.
We'll get with you in just a moment. If you're still there on the phone, we'll get with you in just a second.
We'll just
But-
laugh until you hang up.
Yeah, the opening scene in Shaun of the Dead has this guy wake up. He's a worker guy, and he gets up. He goes to the little shop on the corner to get his morning coffee so that he can function. And he is so sleepy, and he does not realize that the people around him are zombies.
Oh, wow.
He's a zombie because he has no coffee. But
he hasn't had his coffee yet, and it's just
I know how that-
brilliant.
You lose all your situational awareness with that
No,
car.
Yeah.
it's truly, and I'm not really totally a zombie movie fan, but this is another must-see. Everybody's got to see this.
Shaun of
It's
the
really
Dead.
Shaun of the
Hey,
Dead.
sadly, we had a call come in a little while ago, and I've just been letting them sit here on hold. And so, place your bets now. Do you think we still have a caller on the line?
I don't
Let's
know.
find out. Hi, you're on Rim Country Forum. Sorry to make you wait so long.
They probably won't meet Tina's criteria, but I, like you, thought of Monty Python first off, but my favorite is The Life of Brian.
Oh, The Life of Brian was
Oh,
good.
I love The Life of Brian.
Sorry.
Yes, yes.
How do times I've seen it, and I laugh every single time. And it's just, to me, it is.
Oh, I agree with you. It's brilliant, and I would see that over and over again, and have.
Yeah,
seen it
and
over and
you're
over.
absolutely right, caller.
Yes.
There's one scene in there where they're listening to the preacher, and they're out quite a distance from where he's speaking, and of course there's no loudspeakers or anything in that. And one of the characters says to the other, well, what did he say? He said, "Blessed are the cheesemakers." And then immediately, without skipping a beat, the first guy says, "Well, yes, of course, and by extension, all dairy workers."
They just had a really, I mean, obviously very irreverent way of looking at like anything.
That's a brilliant movie.
Yeah, I just really enjoyed Monty
Yes, and
Python
the Holy
stuff.
Grail as well is
Yeah.
also brilliant.
What are you gonna do? Bleed on me?
Yeah.
Anyway, that's another thing. Anyhow, I appreciate the
Thank
phone
you
call.
for that.
Let's take a few more calls here too.
Yeah.
Okay, so your favorite British film. Now we talked about, of course, Monty Python gives us plenty to laugh about, but there's been some other ones, and I know one of you before going on the air today mentioned Bridge Over the River Kwai.
Yes, with directed by David Lean, who's a British director.
Right.
And had David, oh, come on, help me out, Andy. Having a senior moment.
Oh, Alec Guinness.
Well, Alec Guinness was in it, yes, and...
I like Guinness too.
Oh, yes, yes, and Alec Guinness, for a time, he really owned a lot of, the period British movies.
Right.
He starred in The Lady Killers, which is a great comedy with Peter Sellers.
Mm-hmm.
And, but Bridge Over the River Kwai, David Lean directed a lot of stuff. He directed Lawrence of Arabia.
Right.
I mean,
And Dr. Z.
And Dr. Z, yeah.
Real quick, before we take another call here, Michelle in the office here just handed me a few suggestions that I think everybody's going to chime in on. First of all, she said the James Bond movies.
I've got that down,
and
yes. Yes.
And another one, Clockwork Orange.
I got that down as well.
Then
And that was Stanley Kubrick.
Right. Then you'll probably
Yes.
also have her third choice, which was from 1984. This is Spinal Tap.
Oh my gosh.
I didn't know that was
had
British.
forgotten- Well, it is sort of British, because Christopher Guest, even though he's an American and married to Jamie Lee Curtis, is an aristocrat. He has a title.
Hmm.
So, yes, This is Spinal Tap was made about, the failing British band. Oh, and he wrote all the songs to that, and that's that sort of ensemble cast that he uses for Best in Show and A Mighty Wind.
It became quite a cult classic.
Christopher Guest, if he's not British, we should give him the creds because he's got a title and he does British really well.
Very
He's
cool.
got a title, he's British.
Yeah, he is. Well, no, I mean he's bipolar, so yeah,
that's
or bi-coastal.
That's
or something.
not a title.
Well, he's American and British. He's he's got dual citizenship, which I really don't understand anyway. But yeah,
Under American law, there's no such thing.
well, exactly, and there shouldn't be. So
Very interesting.
yeah, but
Let's
that's
go
a
to-
whole nother topic.
Sounds interesting. Let's go back to the phones. Hi, you're on Rim Country Forum. Good morning.
Four.
Good morning. How you doing?
How are you?
I'm sneezing. Now, a really funny movie I watched. It's called Waking Ned Divine.
Yes.
Oh, wonderful movie.
Yes. Oh. Yes. Yes, it really was, and again, that's one that people should seek and watch. It has those two old guys, they are ancient and decrepit, who are just hysterical. Oh, good, good.
Yeah, I'll have to check that out. That's-
Waking Ned Divine, it's really, really good. Yeah.
So to see if we can. Seems like every time I have Dish Network, and so whatever I want to watch, just before I want to watch it, they've taken that channel off of Dish Network. So I don't know. Maybe they'll leave
It's
HBO.
because
on
you
for-
really don't want to see movies.
I watch a lot of news and
Yeah.
sports.
This is not your destiny, but your density.
Density.
Yes.
Gee, thanks. Hey,
I showed watching Ned Divine to a group of middle schoolers one time.
Oh, my
and they
gosh.
were not amused.
It's adult humor, as is Another one in that genre, The Full Monty.
Oh, there you go.
That was a great British movie. Yes.
The Full
The Full
Monty.
Monty. And you do get to see The Full Monty.
And while you're
Yes.
processing that idea, we'll be back with more right after this.
Are you tired?
Randy, I don't know if you can do this.
Give it a shot. We got here.
Where they break up.
I'm
sure I feel much worse. Again, so
That's
I
worse
easy
than
to
Oh, another good choice. Time to Tecumseh Park is a potluck after the rest of the damn radio.
They
Okay,
still
I
play
will do
those
that.
songs too.
Oh.
You hear them on the radio.
I will be with you in just a moment.
Brilliant,
Who's
yeah.
that guy who used to be married to Madonna? The director?
Oh, yeah, Guy Ritchie.
Guy Ritchie?
Lock, Stock, and, yeah, and
Two Smoking
Snatch.
Barrels.
Yes, and Snatch.
And Snatch.
Oh, with Brad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Snatch is, we
Yeah,
have
you gotta
to
mention
mention
that.
Snatch, yeah.
Yeah, and you know, Hitchcock, all of his movies, I mean, you go back to
Yeah.
before he went Hollywood, all British. And then I did a paper on Joseph Losey.
What?
Joseph Losey, the director.
I'll leave this in here so they can plug it
The go-between.
a little bit further today as well.
Appreciate it.
Sure.
British.
I didn't know if it was proper or not.
No, it's not a problem.
Because you don't love the shape you're in.
And Tom Courtney, the loneliness of the long-distance runner. Tom Courtney also starred in Dr.
Take the
Clever.
first step and walk through our doors. We believe in celebrating the little victories.
Holy crap.
Dedicated to your health and fitness.
So, I've got one other that Michelle just brought in that
You can find us at our
everyone's
website.
going to say, oh, yeah.
We're located next to urgent
Big
care. at
Academy Award winner.
South
Oh.
Main Highway
Make any guesses?
3B. Stop in or call
That's right.
928-468-80.
A British movie
Not
that won
that-
an Academy Award? No.
Not that old. It's not possible.
Wants to remind you that customer service is
Um,
important to us.
well, I
We've been serving
had a lot of
our
British
community
people
for
in
over
it.
50 years.
Um,
We're licensed, bonded, and insured.
I
We
don't
have fully loaded
recall
vans,
exactly. I would
full
imagine it's set over in that part of the world.
background checks, where you
Great
know,
Expectations?
Yeah, thank you, I wrote that down, thank you.
Okay.
The original and the remake.
46 is my original.
Yeah,
5 seconds.
John Mills.
George Henry's Plumbing, Heating,
Welcome back to Rim Country Forum. Talking with your hometown movie guys this morning on Rim Country Forum at 9 minutes in front of 10 o'clock, 69 degrees. And again, looking for a high today of 78. Your 7-day forecast coming up in about 10 minutes, so stick around for that. Meanwhile, this morning we've been telling you what's playing at the Sawmill Theaters, but we've also been asking you your favorite British movie. And it can be just a movie with British people in it, or, you know, whatever. But the bottom line is, what's your favorite British-based movie? Let's go back to the phones and find out more. Hi, you're on Rim Country Forum. Good morning.
On the beach.
Oh,
On the
excellent choice, excellent, yes. Neville Shute, yes.
Over the rainbow in the road.
I do believe I've actually seen that, yes.
On vacation in France at the outbreak of the war, and ended up guiding two children back to safety to England.
Yes, yes, that was, really, Neville Shute was a wonderful writer. I don't know, was he British or Australian, but anyway, it doesn't matter because Australia might as well have been British. Yeah, but On the Beach is really, really a poignant movie.
So what's
yeah.
the setting? Obviously on a beach, but
Oh, well, it's about nuclear war.
oh, okay.
Yeah.
In the 50s.
Yes,
As in Life's a Beach.
yes. And
Okay.
it was made, you know, about the fear of nuclear war was so prevalent then, and he wrote a wonderful novel about what would happen and a love story. I forget who's in that. Was it Gregory Peck?
Yes,
I believe it was, yeah, Gregory Peck, and I don't remember.
Fred Astaire.
I'm sorry?
Fred Astaire
Was
also.
Fred Astaire in there?
Yeah. He
Yeah.
played a race car driver.
Ferrari and rescue.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he didn't just dance. I mean, Fred actually did dramatic roles sometimes.
Very interesting.
Yeah. No, thank you for that. That's a wonderful movie.
Well, and I appreciate the call very much. We'll open up the phone lines and get a few more calls here.
And
What?
a more recent British movie, we were talking about Lily James a little while ago, and how much I like her. She also was the star in Pride, Prejudice, and Zombies just a couple of years ago.
That epic saga that we've all heard so much about.
Well, and all the Pride Prejudice movies, you know, whether they be zombies or not.
It was great fun.
Yeah.
So I noticed, Craig, that you don't seem to have a lot of zombie movies these days at the Sawmill Theaters. Why is that?
Coming up,
October 18th, Zombieland Double Tap.
Wow.
Yes, we're 2 weeks away from that one, so,
original cast.
yes, yeah. Woody Harrelson,
Oh, dang.
Emma Stone.
Think of it as brain food.
Yeah, wow.
Right. Hey, you know, Michelle was just, real quick before we go back to the phones, Michelle was just in here yet again. She's come up with quite a list of British movies. And here's one that I know, you know, garnered a bunch of Academy Awards. How about from 1981, Chariots of Fire?
Yes.
Oh, my goodness, which we had as a classic movie.
Right.
That's a wonderful, and a true story.
Right.
Great, great movie.
Was that set in Britain?
Yes.
Okay. It's been a while since I've seen that one.
Okay, back to the 80s still.
Right.
We talked about England, King Arthur, Excalibur.
Oh, there you go.
Yes,
There you go.
John Borman. Oh, whoa, that's a movie. Yeah.
Well, and how about, there really wasn't a whole lot of British people in this movie, but it has a big part to do with British history and everything. And so it always has to go back to, oh golly, this is getting old stuff. Freedom!
Oh, yeah.
Braveheart.
Braveheart, yes,
Thank you.
Mel.
Having a major brain lapse
Yes.
there. But that's been one of my favorite movies, period. I just
Absolutely.
really like that one
The
a lot.
British don't come off real well in that movie because they were not nice people.
And real quick, before we take our next phone call, Michelle sticking her head in the door to say,
Robin and Marion.
Yes.
Ooh,
Yes,
Robin and Marion,
yes,
there you go.
yes, with Sean Connery and Audrey Hepburn.
yeah.
Boy, that was the best Robin Hood movie
It was,
ever.
I agree, I
Absolute,
agree.
hands down.
A lot of people out there saying, he was a Scot, he's not a Brit. What do you think?
Yes, but that's
And Robin Hood with Errol Flynn.
Yes,
Errol
Robin
Flynn.
Hood with Errol
Robin
Flynn.
Hood, Men in Tights.
But we digress. Let's go back to the phones. Hi, you're well done. Back to the phones. Hi, you're on Rim Country Forum. Good morning. Hello there. How you doing?
It's called An Everlasting Peace. It's an American-made movie.
I've seen that. Oh, thank you for that. That's wonderful. And Billy Connolly is one of my favorites all time. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you.
Michelle just had someone text her another suggestion, and it's a movie that I've not heard of, shockingly. It's called Time Bandits.
Yes.
Oh, great,
Yes.
great movie.
Movie.
Yes.
Yes.
Like most of those I've
We
missed.
like that. Yes.
Yeah.
Was that made by Terry Gilliam?
I believe it
Yes,
was,
and there's
yes.
Brazil, who's also made by Terry, which is, I
Yes,
mean,
not
talk about
as
your
much,
head,
not as much fun.
yeah, your head exploding, but Terry Gilliam was one of the Pythons. So, yeah, he went off on his own and made some pretty edgy stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Brazil
Brazil
particularly
is
very
out
edgy.
there. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
But Time
It
Bandits
made
was
me
just-
adult libations just to watch that one, so, yeah.
Wow.
The
Time
Bandits,
Bandits.
you just sit and just let it roll over you. It's
Oh, yeah.
really cool.
It's super good.
So
Yeah.
adult libations, combination of what, cranberry juice and
Yeah.
prune juice or something? Or?
Yeah, yeah, there you go, yeah.
Oh, there you go.
Do
Hey,
you ever have vodka and prune juice? Call it a pile driver.
oh, I've got some good one-liners, but I don't think the FCC wants me to share them, so I'll just keep them to myself. Hey, before we forget, just real quick here before we close things up, I want to remind you, Don Klein, our videographer here, again, you can watch all this stuff from our Hometown Movie Guys on Fridays on the Don Klein channel on YouTube. He just wanted to remind you also that the Toronto Amateur Radio Association is having a ham fest tomorrow from 9 until 2 at Rumsey Park with a potluck afterwards. So, hey, are you interested in ham radio? Well, come on out and see them. Again, that's tomorrow at Rumsey Park from 9 until 2 for the Toronto Amateur Radio Association Ham Fest.
That kind of ham.
I'm more of a
Yeah,
bacon guy myself.
Yeah.
Breakfast.
Now, Craig may not have a few, you know, but we were reminded, and I know he likes Snatch,
Yes.
which is made by Guy Ritchie, married at one time to Madonna, and it has Brad Pitt in maybe his greatest role.
I believe so.
In which he says nothing that you can understand, and he says a lot. He's wonderful. In that,
He's
and
a
also
gypsy,
a
yeah.
gypsy, a Romany
Plays-
gypsy, and then
yeah.
Lock, Stock, and Smoking Barrels.
Two Smoking Barrels, yeah.
Yeah, that was also good. Just a
also very
wonderful
funny.
British movie.
Yeah, both of these are just completely over the top hilarious.
Yeah.
And don't forget that tomorrow, the Classic Movie Saturday is always on the first Saturday of the month. The Phantom of the Opera playing starts at 10 o'clock in the morning. You get in for just $5. And again, you can always find out what's playing and when it's playing by just going online to sawmilltheaters.com or calling 595-0876. And thanks to our hometown movie guys, Tina, Craig, and Andy, for being with us once again this week. We appreciate it. We look forward to seeing you back in here next Friday.
Yes, we go see Downton Abbey. Please do.
Let them eat cake. And Room Country Forum today.
French.
Well, whatever it was. Never liked that French cake anyway. Room Country Forum today being brought to you by Banner Payson Medical Center, the Dana Law Group, George Henry Plumbing, Heating and Cooling, At Your Service Cleaning and Tree Service, Anytime Fitness, and Hospitality Wireless. You're listening to Room Country Radio, KMOG Payson. Time for your top of the hour news headlines.